All right, if you're struggling with sales calls, just to close high ticket deals up front, if you're a B2B marketing agency, you do any selling type of high ticket service, I'm going to break down a very unique and useful and just a extremely effective discovery framework that you can follow to make selling high ticket services way easier. So even if you're not that great at pitching, not that great at objection handling, you're not like Jordan Belfort, you don't have this crazy like objection handling skills yet. I've noticed discovery is actually the most important part of a sales call, and it's what's finally allowed me to close high ticket deals consistently for big upfront payments. So not like pay per appointment, not small setup fees, like genuine high ticket upfront payments upwards of like 3K. So this is the exact framework I follow on all my calls. So I guess the first step would be just the intro. A lot of people talk about, building rapport and all this stuff. Doing a whole bunch of like, what'd you do this weekend? Or like trying to like just build rapport and get their hobbies or anything. I wouldn't recommend doing any of that just because, they hopped on the call because they've got a problem and they think they have a hunch that you could solve it. So best to say professional. The main thing I ask is just like, hey, how's it going? Where are you calling from today? I get their time zone and then I just literally go straight into it. So, okay, let's just get started then. So what I want to do is start by asking you some questions about your agency and yourself, just to make sure you actually need any help. The more information you can give me, the better I'll be able to customize our solution. Sounds good. So with this one, you really, because you can get a bit of resistance if you just say, oh yeah, but I'm going to ask you some questions, then we'll see if it's a fit. And then if you like what you like, we can go from there. But like, you want to keep the sales pressure very low. So I just frame it as asking questions to genuinely customize our solution and see if we can help. Because if they don't answer questions, like you're not going to be able to customize your pitch to them, and that's going to make it really hard to close. Then what you want to do is you want to get into their current situation. So this is like the first step of the sales call, where essentially you just want to ask them what prompted them to book in the call, get a better understanding of their agencies, like what service they're providing, how long they've been doing it, how many active clients they've got, do they work in a specific niche. This will help you customize the pitch later. Just so I can paint what does an ideal client look like. Again, it helps you customize the pitch and make it tailored to them. Is there a specific service you like to sell the most of? How are you pricing your services? With this one, like I like asking this one at the end, towards the end of current situation, because when you ask people how they're charging their services and how many active clients they've got, that naturally leads into how much revenue they're making. Some people don't like to give revenue, but if you ask the active client question and you ask how they're pricing their services, you can say, with the active clients in mind, how much you're making per month. And just on a side note, when you ask all this stuff, you want to ask it with authority and conviction and just do not hesitate and show frame on the sales call. That's one thing that's huge. Like they're either going to buy your frame, buy your conviction, buy your authority, or they're going to buy your doubt. If you're showing doubt, if you're hesitating to ask questions, don't take their bullshit. If they're giving you half answers, don't move on. Like you need to continue asking these questions until you get a proper answer. So then you want to get their current revenue, and then cool, I'm sure you have a growth target for the agency. Where would you like to get to in the next 6 months in terms of monthly revenue? So you want to get where they are right now, then where they want to go, to create that gap so you can customize the pitch, so you can contrast the two states that they want to be in. So once you've done that, you now get to a problem. Now, if you don't get a problem, like a lot of people, I'm sure you guys have experienced this. A lot of people go like, oh, I just want to see what you guys do. I'm just interested. You could always do with more clients. People never hop on a cold sales call. At least I would never. And like I'm probably a good reflection of a lot of business owners in this space. I'm never going to hop on a sales call just to explore some options, just to, just because I'm interested. Like a lot of these alpha dudes, they say, oh, we just want to know what you're doing. You can't take that bullshit, and you actually have to. You want to bump up their ego a little bit, but you also want them to be specific about a problem. So if they're saying, oh no, everything's going well, systems are running great, I'm like, oh, sounds like everything's going pretty well, but is there anything you could change if you could? Or I'll get down to here the problem order that you do. If they don't give a problem, you can't really proceed, because you can't pitch people that don't really give you a problem. Now, what you want to do is just, what's the biggest problem stopping you from getting to XK per month, whatever the goal they have? Why would you say it's the biggest problem? This is where you want to really dig deep and get to the bottom of the problem genuinely to see what the hell's going on. So how long has this been an issue? Is that having an effect on the agency? Is that having an effect on you in any way? Now, the way you ask these questions is so much more important than what is being said. So when they actually give you some information, genuinely ask them, is that having an effect on the agency? Because if it's not, like, why are you going to pitch them? And if it's not having an effect on them or their business partner or their team, like why would you pitch them? Like it's really not that big of a problem unless you need to dig this stuff out and make small problems seem like huge things that they need to fix now. So then you get their current process. So for me, because we help agencies book high ticket appointments through a collection of strategies, omni-channel systems, cold email systems, LinkedIn systems, inbound systems. What you want to do is just get what they're currently doing, and people will open up about the systems they're running. We're just not getting qualified leads. We're doing volume approach on cold email. LinkedIn's, we're doing this, we're doing that. And you just want to get the amount of appointments they're booking, whether they're happy with that, how many they want, how many they could handle, how many fit the criteria of the ideal client they mentioned. Because some people get a lot of calls, but none of them are just qualified leads. You want to really know the amount of qualified leads they're getting, because if that's low, you can pull on that. Then you want to get their close rate, whether that's a typical month for them. All this section is really just building that problem and getting them to talk about their acquisition process, and essentially hint to you, and you can take advantage of it later in pitch, not in like a Machiavellian way, but like you just want to do that because you can customize the pitch and really provide a solution if you genuinely know what you're doing and if you can genuinely help, which is the most important thing. If they're not giving a problem, this is like a problem audit that I kind of do. So most people get on these calls, they're struggling with something specific. They're not getting enough appointments as they like, or overall the agency just isn't growing how they want. However, it sounds like things are going pretty well for you. So in terms of your process, is there anything you'd change if you could? Now, usually people open up about this, and when they say something, you want to ask them, why would you change that? Why is that important to you now though? Because a lot of people, the ones that say, I'm just interested, we could always do with more clients. That's great, but they want more clients for a reason. They want more systems for a reason. You need to either get that their systems aren't good enough. They can't get them to their goal in the required time that they want. So maybe their systems are running all right, but they want to fast track it. Maybe they want to get there faster. Maybe they want a mentor. Maybe they want someone to do it done for you. Now you need to actually figure these things out in a way that's smart. That's not like creating sales resistance. If they're a bit of a know-it-all, not giving an answer, you just ask this may seem direct from what you mentioned. The agency seems to be doing well. You're not struggling with anything specifically, but the fact that you actually took the time out of your busy schedule to book in a call with us indicates that there has to be something missing, something you may be struggling with, or something that's just not working in the agency the way you'd like. So I guess, how does your ideal situation with your agency and acquiring clients look compared to what you are doing right now? Usually this gets them to open up. I just want to get there faster. Why do you want to get there faster? Do you genuinely care about getting there faster? If your current systems can get you to X K per month in 20K per month, why'd you book the call then? Is there something about your scenario? Is there something, an ideal state with acquisition that you'd hoped you'd be in, but you're just chill with your current systems? They're usually going to open up, and the little threads that you can pull on. So if they just say, oh, the system's the volume's all right, but, we're just not getting as many calls as we'd like, or we could do with a bit more qualified calls. And as soon as they admit to one of these big problems in the acquisition space, like qualified leads, not enough calls, bad close rate, not getting there faster enough, we want to fast track it, then you can pull on those threads and get more information out of them. Crucial thing I kind of do when people usually have a main problem. And so let's say someone's main thing is just not enough qualified leads on the calendar. And so I would just be like, okay, yeah, just to make sure we're on the same page, name. Seems like, the biggest problem holding the agency back is, just not enough qualified calls at the moment and no predictable process to do so. Am I on the right track here? And so it's crucial to get them to agree to their problem, because this is the leverage that you're going to be able to use later on in the call. Then you want to, get to why now. So this is really creating urgency without, creating huge sales resistance or being a marketing guru that's trying to close them or like crazy. It's genuinely to see whether they actually want to change something now. Because if they don't, the way you can pull on this, if people start asking you, why are you asking me, whether I want to do this now, the way you want to do it is I frame it, because we have a guarantee. So if we don't get X amount of appointments for them, X amount of clients, X amount of revenue, we refund people. And so the people that we're going to be working with, we don't just want to work with 200 people or 100 people and just run some plug and play systems. We want to genuinely be in the weeds and help people on a done for you, done with you basis. And we're not just going to offer a guarantee to any random person. We want to see, what their problem is, where they're looking to get to, why that is, why this is important to them. Because you can't just offer guarantees to anyone. So that's why I like to reframe them. If they ask me why are you asking all these questions, why are you digging deep, that's a very good thing you can use. to kind of decrease the sales resistance and just keep the authority. Ask them if they've worked with anyone before to address their problem to get them to their goal. What did that entail? Was the service any good? If it is a yes, this is what you'd ask. This is really good because if they've worked with someone before and it went to the shit, you need to get to the bottom of that, because when you pitch, you can contrast like what you're about to sell them with the bad experience they had before. So, you know how you mentioned to me that, you know, the last lead generation company you worked with just didn't get you enough calls. You know, they got you some calls that didn't show up. They weren't high intent calls. There weren't even decision makers, X, Y, Z. All the problems that they had with the previous company, you can essentially contrast that and say that you solve all those things, which genuinely you should be able to if you want to sell these people, but it just works really well on the pitch. If they haven't worked with anyone in the past before, you can just ask, you know, have they tried anything else at all? Again, to be able to customize the pitch later, to contrast to what they've tried before, so they don't think it's something they've already done. With that in mind, what's the reason behind looking for potential help with this now? You know, instead of just doubling down what you've been doing and figuring this out on your own. Again, this is like really creating urgency and consequence. Like, what happens if they don't act? What happens if they just continue doing what they're doing? And usually you want to get them to admit that they can't figure it out on their own. They want to get there faster. They just don't have the systems right. They're looking for done for you help. They want to take it off their plate and whatnot. If they've pushed back, I feel like I can do it by myself. Again, it's similar to the process you used before, but like, what made you book the call then? Like, why not just do that? Why not just double down on your strategy if things are going well? If they say anything like, it could be better, or, you know, we're just interested in fast tracking, why could it be better? Like, why do you want to fast track? Like, what's missing right now from getting you to that goal? Partner questions. So you want to really, if someone's got a partner and they're not like a sole decision maker, you want to ask these questions just to see, you know, what the responsibilities look like. Because later in the objection handling, if you've done all the hard work, but like they've got a partner that they genuinely can't make decisions or buy on the first call without sussing it out with them, you do want to get an idea of their partner, how they share responsibilities, whether they're on the same page, because then you can re-tie in the partner when you do objection handling. You can make, if the person you're on the call with is really into it, you can literally get the partner on your side to convince their co-founder, the other CEO, to get on board with what you're offering. If they don't, you can just leave that. And then, you know, you mentioned this is a lot of people mess up in the B2B space when they ask these crazy emotional questions and they go really deep into like stuff that a lot of people, and especially guys, that don't want to get into. But you mentioned the goal was 20K per month, and you're at 4K a month right now. Why 20K a month? What will that allow you to do for the agency? So I always ask it about the business first, because they're going to mention, it's going to allow us to hire. It's going to free up time for us to focus on our product. It's going to do X, Y, Z for the business. You want to get like why that's important to them now, because like if they're chilling at 20K per month, like why do they care that much? Like if they want to get to 40K a month, but they're already at 20K a month, like why do they even care that much? People always have a deep reasons for why they want to do shit, and you need to frame it in a way to essentially get them to admit it without being like a sales guru and trying to like create pain or like desire and emotional. Like it's just genuine questions. If someone's really resisting these questions, you can just there are no sales tactics here. I'm not trying to like sell you a dream, but let's say we get your problem solved and we get you to 30K per month. What would that do for you on a personal level? Or is it more a family thing for you? Like if you're speaking to someone older, they got a family, you can try and pull on that as well. But you do want to get into, you don't want to go crazy with it, but you do want to get into this stuff, because again, like you're offering these people a guarantee, you're going to be working with them. You don't just want to work with anyone. You want to work with select few people that you can help and are going to commit to your service and listen to you. So those are important questions. Consequence with the current process you have in place right now, of whatever they're doing. Let's say someone's not getting enough calls, trying a few things with LinkedIn, sent a few outreaches, haven't got any replies, barely got any replies in cold email, leads slipping through the cracks in cold email. Like really pull on what they said previously when they were talking about their problem and ask them, like, if they're doing what they are doing right now, how close do they feel they are to getting to 30K per month? And it's crucial to get an admission that they can't get to their goal, or it's just going to take too long to get to their goal if they continue doing what they're doing, because that then like settles you into the position where they need to make a change, they need to potentially buy your service. So yeah, it's just crucial that they admit that they can't do this on their own, and then once they do admit that, all you need to do is transition to the pitch. So, well, I feel like that's me done questions wise. From what you've told me, John, definitely feel like we can help. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to walk you through our process, what we have here, and give you exact clarity on what we do and how we can help. How does that sound? And essentially that's the end of the discovery. Then you move into your pitch. Now, I do have a pitch framework if you guys want to see a detailed, like, customized pitch deck that I use for each individual prospect. Like, I don't use generalized pitch decks. I use a kind of framework that I can adapt to each single prospect that I talk to, and it really makes the pitch land. If you guys want to see, how to deliver pitches that, just get people buying, get people really interested, I can make a video covering that as well. When it comes to discovery, just to summarize it, you want to, just start with an intro, just build some rapport, nothing crazy. Get their current situation, their business, their specific scenario, what industry they're in, what they're offering, their services, just do a background check on whether this is a type of business that you could potentially help. Get a problem, not enough qualified leads, can't close them, XYZ, whatever that is in your niche. Summarize the problem, why now, get them to admit, whether they've worked with someone before, whether they've tried anything else, what they've tried to get, what they've actually tried, like their current process for appointments. Suss out if they've got a partner and ask some questions about whether they're on the same page, to try and retail them in, get their desired situation, where they want to get to, get them to admit that they want to fast track it, can't do it on their own, or they want like help from an expert. Then all you want to do is, that consequence is just really important. That's one of the main things to get people to pay upfront on the first call. Like you got to do that. And then all you do is literally transition to pitch. So this is a kind of short breakdown. There is more detail to it. If you guys want more videos about sales as a whole, I haven't made too many about sales on my channel. I've made more about appointments and stuff, and lead sourcing and appointment booking, script writing, and all that stuff, and DMs and whatnot. But if you guys want more videos about that, just let me know in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.